Vedic astrology is full of clichés, and today we will name 7 of them. They stem from the wrong ontology, which is the theory of being, how the things are, and also wrong epistemology, how we know the things. So in today's video, we will name them and we will try to trace the faulty assumption and swap it with something better. In this video, we'll be going through, is the destiny like the verdict, or is it a tendency? We'll talk about the transits, about the direction or the destination. We'll talk a little bit about the nakṣatra and something like a tarotization of astrology with its image and history application and how the traditional daśā looks like. So let's roll the intro and start with the first one. The first one is about astrology being so much deterministic we cannot do anything about that. This is highly ironic because in Vedic astrology we have also remedies, which we will talk in the last point. So this also stems from the difficulty in defining the free will. This was already in the context of spirituality given by the in the Catholic or Christianity by the Saint Thomas when he was doubling about the source of spirituality. Is it coming from a piety? And the same problematic was also debated by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur when in his treatise Jaiva Dharma he is also thinking about, can the piety create the spirituality, or is it coming from the grace, right? Which is also a very big part of the Protestant tradition. So there are this free will, also a discussion imbibed in those philosophical treatises. But for the today's video context, when we read the classics, for example, the Ayurveda, it lists the daivam. Also in the Bhagavad Gita, when we speak about how the body moves, the daivam or the spiritual indicator, which is also the karmic indicator, which the map is astrology, Greek, Vedic or Greek, this is the main one, but there are other factors, right? And the sole presence of the other factors is totally destroying this theory of the full determinism. Therefore, we have this karmic balance, but we also, according to Ayurveda, which is a good example, can create, can shift, it's like a genetics, which gives something, but still we have a choices. We are working within some lanes, but we still have a choices within that restrictions. And this can create a new lanes in the future. So this understanding can have a big shift about our way of doing things, even way of living, because it will give us more agency, will be more proactive, even when we are still maintaining that spiritual karmic viewpoint. So it's quite important to not be passive, but still have the proper understanding, the balanced understanding of the karma, but also our choice and the responsibility coming from it. Now, in Jyotisha, we have a 33% of free will. This comes from a theory that we have 4 houses which are overly related to our control. These are the 3 houses, the 1st, 6th, 10th, and 11th. And that would be 1/3 of the zodiac. Therefore, these numbers come from this. And also we have this division to daśā signs, which are the fixed. If you have planets in those signs in Rashi or in the Navamsha, then we say that within that areas there is less free will, but still we can use the metaphysical means, like a mantra or remedies, or we can use the Jyotisha advices, Jyotisha tips, astrological information to steer our life. And this also can qualify as some work on metaphysical level. So we also have this division for D1, D9, D60, which chart is dominating. If it's the D60 or D9, we say that maybe the karmic influence is much bigger than D1, where our center of choices is placed. But still, as said, we can use those metaphysical means to still steal that free will from the world. Now we are going to the epistemological clichés, which are about the wrong theory of knowledge, especially when we talk from going from the symbols to the manifested ideas, how astrology works. The literal understanding is the shortcut, which means that we are going straight from the symbol to the manifestation. And it can work quite fine with the neighboring branches of prediction, like the clairvoyance and tarot, maybe, when we are exposed to already details. So the details are seen directly, right? This is different, quite different than how astrology, how the traditional astrology works, where we are really intersecting the broad ideas and define by the mode of exclusion the predictions in more detail. So the reality that there are many levels, and through them we are excluding the options. And that has a big impact on how we do the readings and how the whole prediction look like. Because now we understand that first of all, we have to combine a few levels and synthesize or try to clarify, unify the meanings to get something solid, something more detailed. It will not appear as a ready image, like in the clairvoyance or maybe even in the dreams. So the symbolism which is ready to take is completely different type of predictions. In Jyotisha, what we do is we are combining the broad abstract ideas, and by the mode of exclusion, we are getting into the detail. This may be similar to the medical diagnosis, for example, of mental diseases, when we have this symptom, but this is not there. So it is changing from one option to the other, right? There may be a similar mental challenges, but here we have the presence of this symptom, and here it's not there. So we have few of them, like let's say 5 symptoms, and that is giving rise to a specific diagnosis. The same thing is happening with the Jyotisha, but here the symptoms are the ideas on the second level, which is from the symbol to the idea, and the mixing or combining a few ideas is giving rise to some kind of manifestation. So it's not going from the symbol directly to the manifestation, but it's going through that combination, the permutation on that second level. So that would be the difference, and that is also the mistake. That is also the big cliché, and this has big impact on many, many things. We will discuss a few of them now. So the first one which comes to mind is the transit usage, right? Like people are doing it. They are just taking the planet, oh, it's now in the Aries. Aries is your 7th house, and this is Mars. So they connect Mars to the 7th house, and they give the prediction. This is very popular on the YouTube because it's easy to sell, because it's simple, and it's giving the detailed prediction. That is what people want. That has the biggest value, right? It's very simple, and it's giving the detailed prediction. Unfortunately, it's also cheating. It will not give you a proper results because we cannot expect a detailed result from something simple. We always have to connect a few indicators. So there is a technical problem to that because as we discussed in the previous video about the transits, you can also refer to that. It's explained in more broad way about how we are doing the transits. But if we recap in the one sentence, we are looking more at the Aruda and the moon as the reference point from the transit. So that is the first challenge. And this already brings the complication because we are looking at that from the Aruda. And Aruda is also not so easily to pinpoint in the chart because it may be here, it may be in the other place and so on. Also, we discussed the moon, but it's really about the moon in the Navamshas. Again, we have some additional friction, which is making it less commercial, but also closer to the truth. As you can see, these mistakes will have a big impact on how we do the prediction because we have totally different points of reference. Suddenly, we are looking at the things from the moon in the Navamsha. This is giving you totally different houses. Everything is different. So there are big stakes for that. So we can see that the transits are like direction. They are giving you the road. You should go there. Like it's like north. But to which house it will come? In which house the car will finally be parked? This is depending on the daśā, because daśā is again taking into account many levels. And therefore, this detailed prediction is only possible when you unify more abstract, broad terms, right? And this is possible only with the daśā. So the transit is giving you a very broad direction, or it signals the change, but what will exactly change, you will be able to predict more easily with the daśā. So the next prediction is, if you know astrology, if you can predict the future, why you cannot predict the lotto numbers, right? And this is also the outcome of this false literal understanding of Jyotisha, which is, we could call it the perceiving Jyotisha in a way of images coming to a person, right? It's like this tarotization, we could call, of astrology. But it's working on completely different way. How broad is the brush with which you paint the wall of predictions, right? It's still narrower than in Western astrology, at least by the logic that we have the 16 additional charts and we have more dashas, more levels. So by the logic of permutation, we can go to more detailed prediction, but still to expect that this process of going from the symbol to the manifestation, that it will give you so literal, the peak of the manifestation, not only the number, but the sequence and in a specific order and the specific number of the numbers. This would be very challenging, if not impossible. The next one is about the nakṣatras, which are giving you also literal prediction. And people believe that because the nakṣatras, by its definition, they are giving you the devata and the symbol. So it's again a little bit similar to the tarot. People who expect this shortcut in astrology, which want to go from, again, literal process, from the symbol directly to the manifestation, they are very attracted to those ways. So what they do is that they take this avatar of example and they combine, or they directly convert them to the manifestation. All the archetype of the nakṣatras, the devata and the symbol, they should be combined with the rest of the chart on the second level, and then the unification of those various things should be then translated to how it will manifest. So the shortcut people take from first to the third, from the symbols directly to the manifestation, crossing or overlooking this idea part, is what is causing then the problem. At the first glance, it looks very attractive, but after a few months, the dopamine will fade away and you will be left with nothing. So that is a wrong way. The proper is that we should understand what nakṣatra is about and combine the meaning on the second level and then translate it to how it can manifest in our life. Just a small reminder, if you like to know in which daśā you are and how this is impacting your health, relationship and career life, and what you can do about it with the life choices and also the metaphysical one, which are the remedies, the mantras, then please consider booking the consultation. The link is in the description. All right, now we have two spiritual. The first is about the remedies, and the last one is about being above the karma, being a spiritual person. So the first one is that the remedies should work instantly, or they should work like a switch on-off. So there is some demarcation point or like a threshold. I will cross that with the mantra, and then my dream or the object of my prayer will come into the fruition. It has, I would say, some Christian impact that when you are praying for a specific dream and it comes into the fruition. But if we study the mantra shastra and we see how the number of words are related to some specific symbols or specific abstract ideas, or even the chart placement, how there are specific bijas involved, then we see that there is the devata, there is the personal aspect of the mantra, but there is also a special way how the mantra is impacting the karma of the person. So first we have to understand that we are working again, just like we were doing this epistemological journey from the symbol to the idea to the manifested world. Similarly, with the mantra, we are again working on the root karmic blocks, right? And if we work on them, then they may manifest definitely in auspicious way, especially if we are doing the sattvic mantras, the proper one coming from the tradition. Then they will lead to something auspicious. They will remove the blockages, that is for sure, but it may not be in the exact way how we want it, and it will not be in some instant, like in the light switch, right? That you cross some number of mantras and now the dream appears. It will be rather like a battery, right? The more you will engaged in the mantra sadhana, the more building blocks you will move. But it will be very organic, and it will go through that process from the karmic block to the idea and again to the manifestation. And there will be also other variation which we need to take into account, like your personal relationship with the devata. There may be also many factors involved there, how you are doing the mantras, also what karma you have. Again, in your chart, do you have planets in a fixed sign? This will show a lot of dritha karma, and which area of life is related to dritha, adritha. So there will be also many variation. So that shortcut, again, the simplified understanding that I will pray for that specific scenario, I will do that specific number of mantras, and that dream will come true. This expectation will not come into fruition. We have to understand that the remedy are more like some kind of karmic block going into the auspicious direction, also in the specific area for which you are doing the mantras. But also we have to understand that even if we pray for health or very nice things, it's still sattvic, still within the triguna, and the ultimate remedy is the liberation. So that is when we are not disappointed with the wrong expectation. So the nishkama stage, when we are without any desires, that is the object of the ultimate remedy. And the last one is about the spiritual person can overcome any karmic things, right? He can go above the chart. He doesn't need any astrological work. He is too spiritual. He is not constrained by those karmic ropes. It sounds very romantic, and maybe it comes from those yogic texts which are saying, oh, this karmic, those astrology is not for us, so we are above that. And this may work for some very spiritual people who are on that level of jivan mukta, which are liberated while still being in the body. Most of us are still fueled by the karma, which is seen. The karmic map is seen out in our chart. So for the practical use, for most of us, it's not possible. I remember one devotee in Poland who was treated as very, very advanced. And if we would say that if anyone is above karma, that person definitely would be the candidate. I remember that he got married in the Venus period. So I thought, oh, if he is under the karmic influence, then definitely what to speak about us. So this over-spiritualization of the karmic influence can lead to ignoring some otherwise good advice. We can ignore just like if someone is spiritual, we don't ignore the physical law, right? We still follow the gravity. There also will be the karmic laws still active. So if you ignore them, then you are also missing the knowledge, and this will give you less favorable consequences for your actions because you will not have the full view of what's there. So definitely the more spiritual you are, the more sattvic you are, the more you will be able to be on that meta level. When you see your manasa impulses, just like in the meditation, you are going to the meta level of observant of what the mind is giving you. And therefore you may not follow the impulse that is giving you that privilege, spiritual privilege, but it's not so easy. It's not that 100% you will act from that pure platform sitting on the cloud without any physical or mental implications. So for most of us, this is just some romantic dream which has nothing to do with our practical life. Okay guys, so that's all for today. If you'd like to know more about the Vedic astrology, please consider watching this one.